a yawning cat. Just, you know. Anyway,
Yep.
welcome back to the Talking Average Fitness Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. As always, my name is Sam Burns, and I'm joined by one of the few, one of the special human beings who still remembers what the ham plan is, Mr. Kevin McCarthy. Kevin, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good today, Sam. Just a little bit sadder each day that goes by between when the ham plan existed and now.
Mm.
Um,
It was a special time.
what a time to be alive,
I
man.
know. Look at us.
What a
Look
time
at
to
us
be
now.
alive. Look, look at us now. Just a fucking dumpster fire.
Oh,
Just flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know what's happening
I
ever.
know. We're all just along for the ride. Speaking
Yeah,
of
just
being along for the ride,
hurtling
we
through.
actually
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say just hurtling through space on a fucking space rock
Yep.
in the middle of infinite nothingness.
It's
Don't think
that
about that ever.
what's that Pete Holmes bit where he's like, "You
Yeah.
think you're on Earth? Zoom out."
Zoom out. You're
Pete
on
Holmes, you are
you're
the
on a
best.
space rock in the middle of nothingness, infinite nothingness.
And
And
the
the
infinite
infinite
nothingness is
nothingness
getting
is getting
bigger.
bigger. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Obviously, this is a little bit of insight into how Kevin and I end up
Oh,
getting along as well as we do.
oh.
So we were talking about this prior to the call, like we very often
Mhm.
do. You know, hey, what can we talk about? One of the things that we said to ourselves that we could talk about was like, well, hey, you know, it's the holidays, and you don't need to do 6 workouts to undo your Thanksgiving feast or to preemptively offset your Thanksgiving feast. And while that is the
Mhm.
truth, this episode is going to go live after Thanksgiving. But as we were discussing, people eat more, certainly in the Western world at least,
Mhm.
in the weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's than they do almost all year long, right? And I don't say that to be off-putting or to scare anybody or anything like that. It's just a function of having a bunch of holidays and opportunities to gather with other human beings, like so closely packed together
Mhm.
in like what is essentially a 5-week period or 6-week period. You've got
Yeah,
3
pretty much.
major events.
Yep. That,
And
and most social gatherings do tend to, if not revolve around, heavily include food in
yes,
some way, shape, or form.
absolutely.
Um, and you just, again, not even the social gatherings, like you go into Trader Joe's and there's 17 different type of Christmas cookie and
Yeah.
jingle jangle and all that fun stuff. And you're like,
What's
I
a
need all of it in my face.
what's
It's
a
called
jingle
jingle
jangle?
jangle. It's like, it's a tub of, like, I'm just gonna say for the sake of simplicity, like a Christmas trail mix. It's like chocolate covered, peppermint covered, like pretzel pieces
All
and
right.
all,
Okay.
all that fun stuff. And so like it's just in like a tub.
All
And
right, I
so,
can get behind
you
that.
just have a go at that with just fistfuls.
Well, so in that vein, right? So we can all
Yeah.
relate to the experience that Kevin just described. Um,
Yep.
there are several ways to walk through this 6-week window, and we talked before about how you know we're essentially one cancelable comment away from nobody ever listening to us, and so to kind of hedge our bets, we'd like to provide a little bit of value to anybody who might be listening, right?
Hmm.
So in that vein, you could go into these 6 weeks with absolute reckless abandon and just be like, the brakes are off, the wheels are off, the wheels and brakes never existed, they were fake news,
Yep.
and it just whatever happens, it's like being sucked into a tornado. Like I
Yep.
have no control, I'm just
Whatever
along for the
happens,
ride.
happens. Yep.
Exactly. You could do that, or you could do literally anything else,
Yep.
right? Because that would be the difference between doing nothing and doing something.
Hmm.
Um, if you are that person who looks at the holidays and you say, oh, you're dreading it, like you're
Yeah.
looking forward to it, but you're also a little bit dreading it because you're gonna get to January 1 and you're like, fuck, I gotta like undo all of that stuff.
Hmm.
There are some ways to step into this a little bit mindfully, right?
Yep. Hmm.
And like I have several clients right now who are in the middle of a 12-week cycle, and
Hmm.
we talk about the holidays. It's a major focus for us. Like, what's the plan going into this? How are we gonna set ourselves up so that I don't believe a single day or a single meal or anything like that is going to derail anyone nutritionally. However, there
Nope.
is a motivational component
Hmm.
to the experience of overindulging
Hmm.
And then if you're in the middle of trying to achieve a specific goal, like the perceived effect that that has on
Yeah. Your
how
progress
quickly,
and your result.
yeah, like not even like your progress or your result, but like, because it's not just your progress. It's like I I think I made it there, and so I think I have an amount of time left to achieve it, and like there's a perception that like, oh, it could just be out of reach now, right? Or
Right.
I'm not
Like
going to
that,
get
the one
as
thing just, yeah, I didn't get. Yeah.
yeah,
I get
yeah,
what you're saying. I'm picking
yeah,
up what you're putting down.
right. So if and you can like insert holiday here, like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter the holiday, like
Yeah.
and really any social gathering to boot.
Hmm.
Um, this whole episode is going to be about let's bring a little mindfulness to our eating through this season, right?
Hmm.
And so let's aim for like top five. By the way, none of this is rehearsed ahead of time. I don't know what he's going to say. So in that sense, y'all are along for the ride.
Oh,
Um,
baby.
oh baby, we're gonna come up with top five recommendations each for nutritionally
Hmm.
navigating the holidays.
Okay. And we're just going to go
Okay,
like a one for one, like a
I
tip
like
tap
that.
back and forth.
Yep,
Okay.
I like
Well,
that.
my top four just involve bacon. So I, I'm sorry. I'm joking. Um,
Except not, but yeah.
except, well, um, are we going at like number five, building up number one, or like what's your
Ooh,
top tip and then going
ooh.
down?
See, number five up to number one assumes you have the whole list in your head already.
Well, right. So like that. I just wanted to ask because you just unbeknownst to me, again,
Mhm.
just it's a little insight on how this podcast works. So Sam goes, "We're going to do our top five tips." I was like, "Well, that's new." I,
Eh,
I knew
I
we were going
learned
to
that
talk
right
about this.
now.
It's like I learned that right now. So let's
Let's
just
go.
start like
Let's go one down to
just
five.
in yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe it's not in no particular order because as you think through, you'd be like, "Ooh, this is maybe a better tip than that
Mm,
one." But like, so in no particular order, just five tips from me, five tips from Sam. So you're going to have
yeah.
10 tips
Yep.
going into the holidays to manage some of the madness.
Yes.
So do I go first?
Sure.
Okay,
I know what my
prioritize.
top one is.
Okay, I know what my top. Watch it be the same one.
It is the same one. I already know it.
Yeah, prioritize protein.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, god damn
God
it.
damn it.
Fuck.
Okay. So, but why? Tell me why.
So for a couple different reasons. Number one, protein is in the words incredibly satiating.
Mm-hmm.
So you eat some protein, it's going to fill you up more
Sure.
than other things you're going to be eating. So
Sure.
it's going to have that effect on your appetite. So protein is satiating. So focusing on that will lessen the likelihood of you overeating just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, protein supports lean tissue
Yep.
more so than carbohydrates and fat. So if you can prioritize the protein, you at least know that you're getting the macronutrients in that you need
Mm-hmm.
to support your lean tissue and your training and all that good stuff. Um, those are my main two things for like reasons to do it.
Beautiful. Actually, that's my number two. I'm going to make that my number two. My number one
What?
is
Prioritize protein.
yeah, like
Okay.
because that assumes something, and I think the thing that it assumes is that you have a goal going into the holiday season, right? So I
Even if
think
you don't have a goal, I would say prioritize protein. Even if
I
you're like, I don't have a fitness goal, I would just like to not, you know, I don't know.
right, and I'm like it doesn't take away from the importance of it, but I would say like there are probably going to be some people listening who or watching who would say no, this is I don't want to think about that. My plan is to full this is my downtime. Like this is my vacation to myself. I
Mhm.
I give myself permission to eat what I want because I want to eat it, and I worry about anything after the fact, or I concern myself with anything after the fact. And so I guess if I had a first thing, it would
Okay.
be if like ask yourself if you have goals. Like, are you attempting to be conscious about what you're eating? And like, is it important to you? And if you say it's important to you, can you articulate why it's important to you? And if you say, nope, don't have a goal, don't care, okay, right? There's
Yeah.
I think there's some value in also saying, why is that the case? And, and I say that because it's easy it's easy to arbitrarily pick something, but anytime
Mhm.
we can emotionally anchor decisions, we end up, is my opinion, that we end up later on regretting fewer decisions.
Mm.
Mm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So sorting out where your head's at. Do you
Yeah.
have a goal? Do you not have a goal? Why or why not?
Yeah.
Having that
And if you
little
do have your
internal
goal, what is it?
conversation. There we go.
All right. So then
Sweet.
if lean protein is, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. I lost you for a second. It did like
Cool.
a weird, like audio explosion.
Stutter bit. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So if lean protein is number one, then what's your number two?
Um, I mean, number two, this is, I mean, again, this maybe comes down to like, um, do you have a goal? Like, if it's so,
Yeah.
I'm going to approach this from the standpoint of
Yeah.
I assume that you have a goal.
Okay.
Whoever is listening to this, I assume that you have some sort of goal.
Okay.
So the prioritized protein number one.
Yep.
Number two is like, and this is going to come down a little bit more to like quantity,
Uh-huh.
is like to not overflow your plate.
Mm.
Like kind of keep everything within the confines of your plate.
Oh, so like
That makes sense.
visually, like
Yeah.
nothing spills over the edges.
Yeah. So you have your plate.
Yep.
And that's your plate of stuff to have.
Okay, I like that.
You
It's
with
so
me?
yeah, so like simple portion control based on the
Yeah.
confines of the plate, which doesn't
Yeah.
mean get a fucking dinner platter.
Right. Doesn't mean get a dinner platter. Like you have your normal plate. You put,
Right.
again, you prioritize the protein.
Sure.
Um, Whatever else goes on there doesn't exceed the plate.
Right.
But it's like then it takes away that like I'm doing somewhat of a portion control without
Mm-hmm.
having to be and like this is of no judgment for anyone who does that, but
Sure.
I'm not the person that whips out the food scale at family Thanksgiving and like starts weighing and measuring my mashed potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of your aunts and uncles are sitting there like, what the fuck is this guy on over here? Like I
Who is this jerk?
yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
So it prevents that from having to happen, but still like
Mm.
kind of controls intake to some extent. And again, like be somewhat reasonable, because I could see someone being like, "Oh, I didn't exceed this one on the plate, but I just like stack them bitches up." I'm like,
It's like it's all one nacho rule.
yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
um. So yeah, I would
Okay.
say that would be tip number two. Would be kind of like to keep it within the confines of the plate.
All right. So my tip number two is your tip number one is
Mhm.
lean is protein, and if you can, lean protein. So like depending
I'll
on
I'll
what you're,
give you the same question. Why? Because you asked me why. I gave you two reasons. So
right,
why for you is that a thing?
why is that a thing? Well,
Yeah.
so there are, if we're going to be mindful, right? So leaner cuts of protein don't carry hidden inside of them additional calories from fat, right? So like there's bacon, great example, right? We all know that chicken is a
Mhm.
leaner thing than bacon. And you can tell yourself, yeah, I'm getting my protein in. I just had 10 slices of bacon. Yes, but also you got like the same amount of grams of fat, right? And literally double the calories from fat than you did protein.
Yeah,
And
but those
it's
extra
not.
calories are just happiness, man.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely like that. That 10 slices of bacon thing was not an arbitrary thing. I did that recently, but
Yeah,
it was a thoughtful thing. Like I knew
yeah,
going into it that this is going to tick off like 50%
yeah,
of my fat for the day.
yeah.
Um,
And I'm okay with it.
lean,
You're like,
yeah, yeah, totally okay with it.
yeah.
And later, and if we are, let's again assuming that we have a goal here, and if we are going to
Hmm.
step into it with a goal, and it's like, okay, I want to be mindful, then a way of being mindful is to aim for leaner cuts of meat.
Hmm.
And so, like, that can be the difference between like light meat and dark meat. If you got a turkey, if there's chicken or fish options as opposed to pork options, things like that. Um, like I don't, depending on where you are, that someone might bring like a plant-based option or something like that. That is plant-based protein. Tofurkey, if you're that person. Um, all of those are like on the leaner side than like a dark meat for turkey or like a pork
Hmm.
or if there's like a fried option as well, like fried
Oh yeah,
chicken would not qualify as a lean meat.
no.
No,
No.
unfortunately. No.
Yeah. Sad,
Yes.
sad times.
Sad. Yeah.
Sad
Hashtag
times.
sad face. All right. So what's next for you?
Number three for me is include at least two colors on your plate.
Oh, I like that. Colors of.
Mm. Well, so if it's got a color, it's probably a plant of some sort. It's either a fruit or a vegetable. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of getting at, but in simpler terms. So include at least two colors on your plate. Brown doesn't qualify as a color. Sorry.
I like
um,
I like that notion. I like that notion.
yeah, if you
Um,
include at least two colors, and again, not speaking to quantity, because again, we're saying we're prioritizing protein.
yep.
We're keeping it all in the confines of one plate.
Hmm.
If you include two colors, meaning like you do like a scoop of green beans and a scoop
Hmm.
of carrots. I'm just making stuff up.
I
I
like
don't know what
carrots.
people have, but like, a scoop of green beans, scoop of carrots, like
Yep.
that doesn't have to take up an absurd amount of space on your plate, but at least now we're addressing, so we've addressed protein,
Hmm.
we've addressed quantity, total quantity of food eaten,
Yeah.
and now we're including micronutrients, like
Yep.
forcing you to get some micros in there through
Yep.
some veggies. So including at least two colors on your plate. If you have a wonderful mixed salad where it's like, all right, there's some greens and purples and oranges and reds and all that fun stuff in the salad, then like, you've checked the box type deal, but
Yeah.
include at least two colors on your plate.
I I will take it a step further. My number three is also it's very similar. It's veggies first, then starches.
Okay.
And so like if you're imagining a plate circular, right?
Yep.
1/4 of that can be chock full of protein, right?
Mhm.
50% of the
Mhm.
plate visually can be vegetables.
Okay. I'm with you.
That's where I like that's my personal goal going into this. I'll tell a story about that and CrossFit's 100 Words of Fitness, and I had a small epiphany to myself recently.
Mm.
And I do that so that like if I got 1/4 protein and 50%
Mhm.
vegetables, I got a limited amount of space on that plate to do something with starches, and that probably limits me. Like if we're gonna like a serving spoon type deal, I got to be selective about what I have, and I have to have that thing. And because I'm selective about it, I only have a certain amount of space. I'm only going to have so much of it. So I'm not going to like potatoes and casserole and macaroni and cheese and like
And
the
stuffing and and the
and
dinner roll
yeah,
and yeah,
like
whole thing.
the collective. And like again for me, I feel like I can go into this holiday season, like specifically Thanksgiving is like tomorrow. I can have a crap ton of turkey. My wife makes a killer turkey,
Hmm.
great vegetables, and then have a little bit of those denser carbs and get a taste for it without um derailing what my goal is.
Mm.
Yeah. Veggies first, then starch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Love
All
it.
right. Number 4.
Drink a glass of water before you eat.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Where'd you think
Uh,
I was going?
no clue, but
Okay.
not drink water. But
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, I want human beings to drink water. But I think I
Well,
know where
right.
you're going with this. But
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you talk
I'm
more.
sure you do know where I'm going with this, but it's another thing to kind of like a little bit of some appetite control. If you drink a glass of water, like a
Yeah.
full, a glass of water before dinner, yeah,
Yep.
boom. If you drink a glass of water before you sit down and eat, it doesn't have to be like, okay, we're eating in 30 seconds. Let me just chug this sucker. But like, drink a glass of water before you sit down to eat helps a little bit with the appetite control because sometimes you can get tricked into a little bit of like, my body
Mm,
just needs something. So you just like
yeah.
shove food in there. But actually, what you do need is some water and some hydration. But staying
Yeah.
hydrated is always good. But also, like, again, just similar to protein having a satiating effect. Not
Mm,
that water has as much a satiating effect, but like you drink a glass of water, your hunger cues tend to go down a little bit. So you're not
yeah.
like, rocking up to the table being like, give me 3 plates of everything,
Yeah.
So it helps control that a little bit, helps keep you hydrated, all that good stuff.
I read once that humans easily confuse hunger and dehydration cues. And
Hmm.
so very often when you're like late in the evening especially, if
Hmm.
you're hungry, you can trick the brain into being satisfied by having a glass of water as opposed to feeling like you need to actually eat food.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Um Wow. I was
Yeah,
totally taken.
yeah.
Well, so
Have some of
mine,
that.
yeah,
Wow, that's the first time I've like blown Sam's mind ever, probably.
yeah. Wow. Well, not ever, but in recent memory.
Yeah,
Um, so mine was sauces and gravy.
yeah.
Like sauces and gravy can be the difference between, let's call it, 1,000 calories and 1,800 calories.
Oh, easily.
Eat like, and
So
without
easily, it's
right.
not even like without even thinking about blinking. You take your lean cut of turkey
Hmm.
and you give a little drizzle of some of them that gravy right there,
Yeah.
and instantly your turkey just went from a lean cut of turkey to a no longer lean cut of turkey
Yeah.
because you dip everything in it. You like
Yeah.
that, and then the gravy seeps into your mashed potatoes, and it's like,
And it's
amazing.
wonderful.
But
It's
it's
wonderful.
so amazing. It's the most wonderful. It is.
Well, there's a reason that these foods are so palatable, right? Like, so things that are, like dense carbohydrates, things that are high fat, they are incredibly palatable to human beings and have been for, all of human
Ever.
existence. Yeah, exactly. Um, that's part of the reason that, like, we ring the bell, and, like, I say we, I mean the fitness industry rings the bell in warning against processed foods. It's not because, um, well, so the reason for that is largely because in processing, we create a product that is loaded with carbohydrates, that is higher in fat, and because it's loaded with carbohydrates and higher in fat, and very often sodium as well, it is hyper palatable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in your brain that says I've had enough of that,
Oh,
because as you indulge those things, as you take those things, and especially if there's sugar as well, there is a similar effect on the brain as if you take cocaine. And speaking from
yeah, I was
a long, like,
gonna.
as a drug addict, like, there were very few times where I'm like, nah, I feel like I'm good. Like, I don't want
Yeah,
more. Like, it's the problem with being
yeah.
a drug addict, is you always want more. And so that it acts on your brain in a similar way.
Hmm.
Um, in fact, foods are being, and I say food is being engineered now by scientists to be hyper palatable
Yeah,
so
to
that people
elicit that effect,
consume.
so that you keep buying more of it
Yes.
and keep eating more of
Yes.
it, and oh yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
It
And
is a whole
we
thing.
could dive down the rabbit hole on that and just like the effects of like what that does and how it affects other different systems like the healthcare system, yada
Oh,
yada
yeah.
yada. Let's skip that rabbit hole for today because we could get lost
Let's,
down it.
yeah. So, short version, if you're going to sauces, gravies, things like that, just know that there's a reason they taste good, right?
Hmm.
And if you're going in with specific goals, for example, you're on a fitness plan, or you're on a nutrition plan, you're trying to stick to certain numbers, probably your ability to hit those numbers is going to be easier without sauces or gravy, or with those sparingly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I yeah, I would say maybe something you could tell people is like, if you're gonna go with like some sauces or gravy, like you
Hmm.
want to have some gravy with your Thanksgiving dinner,
Hmm.
rather than like taking the whole gravy boat and just doing one of those. Because you can't
Taking
like
the
just
gravy
maybe
boat
take
and dipping your stuff.
yeah, take the gravy boat, take a bite, take a sip.
Oh! Anybody who's
uh,
never done that, you're lying.
no, but I was saying like if you had like some like you take the gravy boat, you take your
Hmm.
spoon,
Hmm.
take a spoon of gravy, drizzle that over, and then like that's your gravy is
Yeah.
like your like essentially like and
It's
get
like an
like
actual serving
one yeah
size.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Could
It's
be a
it's
way
like
to
if
keep
you've
it
ever had an
manageable.
actual serving size of peanut butter.
Oh, it's
It's
the most depressing thing in the entire fucking world. I hate it.
I
It's
know. I
it's
know.
the worst.
I know. Salty, fatty foods. It's so good. All right. So, number 5,
Mm,
kind of rounding out the list, right?
mm,
So, from you, we've had lead protein.
mhm.
We've had two
Keep
colors,
yep.
right?
Keep it on your plate.
Yep. Oh, keep it on your plate. Two
Yep.
colors.
Hmm.
Drink
Drink
water.
glass. Yep.
Drink a glass of water. What's number
Hmm.
5?
Have dessert.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just
That's
have dessert.
yep. Just have dessert. Like have dessert and don't lose your mind about it. Like
Yeah.
and when it comes down to it, and this is maybe a little bit contradictory too. Again, like I'm assuming you have a goal,
Hmm.
whether that goal is like trying to build muscle, lose some body fat, just keep things status quo, performance, whatever it is. Like, I'm very much of the mindset when it comes to nutrition and nutrition coaching and, working with my clients, that have the cookie, move on with your life. It's okay.
Right.
Like, again, if 7 people rock up to Thanksgiving dinner with 7 different pies,
Which
probably
is a
not
thing that happens.
which is a thing that happens. My family does that at almost every Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep.
At least 4 pies,
Yep.
minimum.
I identify with that.
And it's like, okay, you have all the pies there. There's no law that says you have to have some of each one. Like,
Yes.
like you can have one piece of pie, because guess what? There's probably going to be leftovers that you
There
can
will be
have
leftovers.
like
There's always
at
leftovers.
another time. And it's like, okay, so it doesn't have to be I had 4 pieces of pie. Like, when I say have dessert, like, have your 1 piece of pie.
Yep.
Have your 2 pumpkin chocolate chip cookies that your aunt only makes once a year, and you're like, I love them.
Yes.
Like, have dessert. Like, again, within reason, keep it like portion wise within your reason, but have dessert. Don't lose your mind about it. Move on with your life. That's tip number 5, to like keep people somewhat sane.
Yep.
Because discipline is a thing where if you're trying to achieve a goal and get somewhere, you need to be disciplined. However, there is a limit for most people, and everyone has a different limit.
Yep.
Everyone has a different limit, but there's a limit to how much discipline people can do without having like, I'm going to have a cookie and then like get back on the train. And then like, I'm going to have a piece of Aunt Joan's pie and then get back on, It's like, you're at a family gathering. It's a holiday with your loved ones. Have a piece of pie, move on with your life.
There are diminishing
don't lose
returns
your
on
mind.
attaining perfection.
Yeah, 1,000%. So that's my 5th tip. And it's more a tip from like the mental side of it, and more so kind of like making it okay to have a little something. Cause I feel like that's something where like, I'm talking with, members we have here at the gym in Sudbury, and it's like, oh, I like can't miss a workout this week. We got Thanksgiving. Or like, I gotta come in for the Thanksgiving morning workout, guys, and then go do a turkey trot. I gotta earn that turkey. And I'm like, and it hurts my heart that people are like, have this in their head that this one meal is gonna ruin my entire everything, to the point where I need to like either punish myself beforehand to create a deficit that I will then fill with turkey and pie, or I eat the turkey and pie, and then Friday and Saturday have to punish myself to like undo it. And it's like, no punishment needs to happen.
And to be clear,
at all.
Not just physically punish, but emotionally punish as well.
But emotionally, mentally, it's because that's a fully loaded gun right there.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, the person in the gym who's like, oh yeah, I got to smash myself with 2 workouts, got to do Fran 3 times to try and like earn that turkey. It's like, something's happened physically there in terms of like them doing Fran 3 times. Something more devastating is happening mentally and emotionally there as well.
Yeah, the long-term ramifications of that emotionally and mentally are
hard to fix. Hard to undo, hard to deal with, like in all regards. And it hurts my heart when people say things like that or do things like that. It hurts my heart even more when gyms push that.
Endorse that.
When gyms are like, and this is like, if you have a gym and you're open on Thanksgiving, this is not like a knock on, you can make whatever schedule you want and do whatever you want. But the thing that irks me is people that own a gym, coach a gym, whatever, like, we're doing a Thanksgiving Day workout. Come in and earn that turkey, gang.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing makes me more upset than something like a coach or a gym owner pushing that on their members and athletes, being like, hey, we're going to do this workout. And usually it's like, it's something gnarly, right? Hey, we're going to come in and do this. We're going to do this 40-minute workout, just this 40-minute slugfest, so you can earn your turkey.
Yeah.
Fuck right off with that. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to have like a community thing, like, hey, we're doing like a community thing at the gym on Thanksgiving to like be with our gym family and like have fun and throw down and partner workout and like boom, bang, bang.
Yes.
All about it. As soon as the gym owner or coach goes, we're earning our turkey today.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
End rant.
And rant. I think that's an appropriate rant. I like that rant. I'm here for it.
I got all upset about it. So you don't need to earn your turkey. You don't need to earn your piece of pumpkin pie. Like have a piece of pie with your family. Don't lose your mind. Move on with your life.
You deserve it. You are enough.
Exactly. 1000%.
And that is said with no sarcasm.
No,
or anything like that.
100%. With the utmost of, you don't need to earn it. Like you deserve to eat food and enjoy time with your family and have a piece of damn pie, and
Absolutely.
it's all good. I was talking with some members of like, this is a very super simplified, like physiological, whatever, what happens, because they were all stressed about, oh, I'm gonna eat Thanksgiving and like it's all this calories and whatnot. I was like, what do you think happens?
Right.
What do you think happens? Like, let's just say, for example, like you normally eat, and I'm just using numbers during this conversation. Like, let's say you normally eat 2,000 calories, you eat 5,000 calories. What do you think happens?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, like I'd gain that much weight. I'm like, your body doesn't do that. Like like if you do that chronically, I normally eat 2,000 calories, and then for a month I eat 5,000 calories a day.
Sure.
Then yeah, your body's gonna like upregulate storage mechanisms. Your body's not that fast at stuff. If your body was so fucking fast at adapting, we'd all be fucking jacked and shredded after doing like one bench press and one sit up. You know, you do like a week's worth of workouts and you look like Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Your body's not that fast at doing that stuff. It's storage mechanisms, you know, muscle protein synthesis, all that fun stuff. They're slow.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have one day, if I went off the rails, I was like, if I normally eat 2,000 calories and today I ate 5,000 calories, your body's going to take those 3,000 calories and be like, don't know what to do with this. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're going to get rid of it. You can probably figure out in your brain how your body does that, but you're going to get rid of it. It's what happens on the one day. If you do that weeks, months in a row, then yes, storage mechanisms start to catch up and make it happen. But on the one day, your body goes, well, we've got 3,000 extra calories. Do we have anything anywhere to put it? Anything to do with it? No?
Yeah.
Sweet. Get rid of it.
Well, so
and you're like, that's what, so I'm like, if you don't lose your mind, like again, that's not like, I don't want that to come off as like, I just have license to eat 10,000 calories. I'm just gonna have a really big poop the next day. Yeah. Like, you know, within reason, but like, that's, you know, essentially what happens. You go off the rails a little bit. Yeah. Your body it's not just going to be like, well, chuck all this into fat storage. Like, that's not what happens. Yeah. So you don't need to worry or panic about that.
I love that you said that the body is slow, and it really is. And that's why, like,
it's so fucking slow.
Right? Which is why
it's so fucking slow.
Which is why losing weight in a healthy way is so hard.
Which is why putting on muscle is so hard.
Harder.
So much harder. It's the harder of the thing. And
harder.
You know, again, comes down to the deal, this like slight tangent, but it's like when people are like, I don't want to do lift heavy weights, I don't want to get big. It's like, bro, if you know how fucking hard it was to get big, it's so much food at the right amounts and types of food at the right amounts and types of training and stimulus, and then take all those things that are right and correct and appropriate and let it marinate for 5 years. Yeah. Now we're talking. But it takes so much time.
So let's say, let's apply a little bit of numbers to this, right? Because this is really, really important. Like, the body is slow, and we can inform people, and they can be proactive about how they deal with this. If, for example, me at your current level of output, not you, but you, the listener, at your current level of output, including what you do when you're awake, your workout, all that other stuff, your not your basal
metabolic rate?
No, the
TD.
Total energy. Your total energy expenditure is 2,000 calories, right?
Sure.
So your maintenance level of intake is 2,000 calories, right?
Yes, sir.
If you wanted to put on 1 pound of weight, as a general statement, you'd have to be eating like 2,500 calories every single day on average to, at the end of the week, weigh 1 pound more.
1 pound more. Yep.
Right. And that's just literally putting on mass. What your body does
Yeah.
with that depends a lot on what you're doing with training and stuff like that.
Stimulus and yep.
Right, exactly. So
Exactly. Yep.
that number. Let's assume that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday,
Yep.
Saturday, you're right at 2,000 calories. And
Yep.
Thursday, because it's Thanksgiving, you're at 3,500.
Yep.
Right? So
1,500 over.
1,500 over.
Yep.
If you then take that and average that out across the entire week, instead of being at 2,000 across the entire week, you're only at 2,214.
Yep.
Across the entire week. So that's less than a half pound gain across the entire week.
Across
right?
the week.
The week.
The week. The one
Right.
day you're not just and
like
here's another thing. Like
most scales don't show you half pounds.
Well, so there's that. But here's something to like fry some people's brains. If let's say you're someone who weighs yourself every day, right? You weigh yourself Wednesday, I weigh 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I weigh myself Thursday morning, I weigh 200 pounds.
Yep.
I weigh myself Friday morning, I weigh 203.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
I typically chalk that up to water weight.
There we go. Boom. So Sam, ding, 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 winner, winner. Sam nailed it on the head. You eat a little bit more carbohydrate. Generally, things have a little bit more salt to them. You have a drink or two. All that stuff causes your body to retain water. Your cells are holding more fluid.
They're swollen with fluid.
Yeah. So they're just holding more fluid.
Yep.
So
water weighs much stuff.
I weigh, yeah. So I weigh myself Friday morning. I'm 203.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Time for a juice cleanse. And I say that like in somewhat of jest. People do this. The 3 pound jump is I've just held on to 3 pounds of extra water weight. I haven't, again, like we talked about, your body's storage mechanisms do not work nearly that fast to make that happen.
Yeah.
So if I just go back to eating like a normal human, I come back to my 2,000 calories, right? Just make the numbers consistent. I come back to my 2,000 calories. I hydrate myself, the whole thing. I wake up Saturday morning, I'm 200 pounds again because your body will have like, okay, sick, everything's back to normal. It flushes out the extra water. It lets go of it. And everything's good in the hood. But I understand when people like, I had Thanksgiving dinner, even if they're not doing like the, hey, let's keep control of things a little bit stuff. They're like, I'm just going to go off. Let's have fun, and you go bonkers. And then you're 3 pounds heavier. Your body weight can fluctuate up to 6 pounds either way just by water from day to day. So if I woke 200 pounds, the next day I woke up at 206, all 6 pounds of that is water because my body cannot store body fat or muscle or glycogen or anything like that nearly that fast. No. All 6 pounds of that is water.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go back to eating like a normal human, like you have been for the entire, however long you were prior to the holiday.
Forever.
Yep. Drink your normal amount of water to like rehydrate yourself. And then the next day, I guarantee you will wake up back in your normal weight range.
Nice.
Where you are. Like 100%. Works 60% of the time, every time. And so that's definitely something that like should be put out there is like, if you're someone who does weigh yourself and you hit yourself with like, hey, I'm going to do this, you have a better baseline if you do it more frequently. If you're someone who's like, well, I weighed myself back in July, I was 194 and that could have been, I was 6 pounds down in water. And then I weighed myself after Thanksgiving. I was 206. Fuck, put on 12 pounds. Like, no, you didn't. I'm 200 pounds. Again, let's just say I'm 200 pounds. The one day I measured myself, because it was infrequent, I caught myself on a bad day where I was low on water, 194.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. Like, but again, as soon as I drank some water, I came right back to my 200.
Yep.
Didn't weigh myself till after Thanksgiving, and I'm 206. Again, I'm high on water. To someone who doesn't understand this stuff or doesn't have experience with it, you're looking at it, you go, holy shit. From like the end of July until end of Thanksgiving, I put on 12 pounds. Time to panic. It's not time to panic. like it's 100% you can make that swing happen, especially over the course of months.
Yeah.
With water, especially if you are like inconsistent how you. Anyways, that thank you for coming to my second TED talk.
Yeah, it's okay. It's really important.
So
It needs to be talked about.
it does. So what's your fifth tip?
Fifth tip.
Yeah.
2 drinks or less.
Okay. Gotcha. So we
You know?
kind of like went the same way with our fifth tip. Like have a little bit of some,
Yeah, and like with the dessert, it's I have no like like it could be, you could go both ways with desserts. With alcohol, there's enough stuff coming out, studies that are being revisited and meta-analyses and things like that, that I can't confidently say that there's any good reason for you to drink alcohol.
no.
That being said, I understand that it's a part of social tradition. It's a common staple in social gatherings, and so like it's part of the thing. Also, to my knowledge, there are like Thanksgiving night is the second highest rate of drunk driving incidences in America.
One that I have not, can't confirm that, but I 1000% believe it.
Yeah. The first one being Super Bowl. God bless America.
Oh man.
Yeah, there are more drunk driving arrests on the evening of the Super Bowl than there are on Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving's number 2. That's my understanding. I don't want anybody to get pinched for DUI. There's no reason to be acting recklessly. If you limit yourself to 2, chances are pretty good you'll be on the better side of that equation. But also, you'll never go wrong with none, both from an intoxication standpoint and like a metabolic standpoint.
And like a health standpoint.
And like a health standpoint, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1000%.
I think this was a really solid little list, man.
Yeah.
For having zero preparation and walking into it totally fucking
for having
blind.
not prepared.
Yeah.
That's just we just put out a masterclass in fake it till you make it.
Hey, that's what we're here for. For anyone who enjoyed this kind of content, please let us know. Or if you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard, please also let us know. We're interested in that kind of stuff too. Bring us all the smoke.
I want all the smoke all the time.
And since anyone who hears this will hear this after Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you did so, in a mindful but not obtrusive way. And going into the other holidays that are upcoming, I hope this sounds useful and sounds like something that's sustainable. And if you have questions about this, both of our handles are in the bottom of the video here, at Coach Sam Burns and at Kevin McCarthy 21, 2 C's in McCarthy. Just, ask us. If we don't know someone who can, if we can't help you, we know someone who can help you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. All right. Well, since tomorrow's Thanksgiving and I won't talk to you like it's our normal day, Kevin, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, man.
You as well.
Thanks,
You
homie.
as well.
And
go
everyone
bonkers
else
in that gravy boat. Let's go.
I'll try not to. We'll see. And everyone else, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week. Oh, I don't want to leave the studio. I want to end the recording.